Roadshow, episode number 493. My name is John Morgan, and Cold Coffee is with me here in Las Vegas. And Cold Coffee, I'm just going to put it out there, I think we're still recovering, bro. I think even now, let me just say, first of all, we're a day later than normal. So it's actually Thursday morning, not Wednesday afternoon. You had a long day yesterday. I had some other things going on. So we said, you know what? We both have a day off on Thursday. Why don't we just meet together on Thursday? We can get together and maybe have a little rye in the morning with the coffee. You know what I mean? If we so choose. Yeah. And we did choose to do that. We did choose. So it's one of those kind of days. But I'm just going to say, a rare week off from major MMA, right? We had no UFC. There was no Bellator, no PFL, no one championship. Labor Day weekend is pretty much, I think most MMA organizations, I know at CFFC, like, we kind of avoid it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a weekend where people travel and they take off and they go to the lake and they, you know what I mean? It's not a big, MMA type weekend. So most, avoid that weekend. Everybody did. So it was a rare week off. But we had plans. Long-time day one listener, Cali Gold. We'll call him James if you like. We don't have to go with the screen name Cali if you want, or Cali Gold, screen name, whatever you want. He decided to come into town. He's a frequent Vegas visitor. Yep. And since we had the weekend off and everything to do, say, you know what? Let's hook up and let's hang out. And I'm gonna tell you right now, folks. If you know James, if you know Cali Gold, and he invites you out, you best be ready.
Have your big boy pants on.
Have the big boy pants. Here it is, Thursday morning. I'm not sure I'm completely recovered from what we went through this past weekend.
Can you tell me what all did we do?
You were there.
Don't you remember?
No, not all of it. Most of it.
Some bits.
Some of it.
Some bits. I know we went to one place.
Look.
And then we went to another place.
We went to one place, and then we came back to your place to drop off your car, which was a smart move, by the way.
Very smart. That was adulting.
Listen, it became very evident as soon as we got together, three of us sat down, and it was, hey, what's up? Let's have a round of shots. And it was like, okay, let's do that. And no sooner had the shot glass touched back down on the table than my man is ordering another round of shots. And it was at that point that we all realized, we're into this tonight. And so, yes, to your point, we came back. We dropped your car off so you didn't have to worry about driving the rest of the night. We Ubered responsibly, as you said. We did some adulting. I know I made some suggestions on places we could go in town.
Yep.
I don't know that I recall exactly when we were there, but I do remember finally going home, kind of. That was
an ordeal. That was an ordeal.
Yeah.
Because even at the last taco spot, that was after the last bar.
We crushed some late night tacos.
I think we hit 4 bars.
We hit 4 bars.
Then we hit the taco spot.
We crushed some late night tacos.
And it was at that point, I remember ordering an Uber. The Uber came, getting the Uber, and I noticed on the phone that I had put the destination back to the bar that we just left. And I was like, wait, no, I messed up. And he's like, well, sorry, I got to stay in this area. So he kicked us out of the Uber. You probably don't even remember
remember this.
And then we sat back onto the sidewalk.
I remember ordering an Uber from a sidewalk.
Yeah.
But I didn't remember why I was
I can't remember if you were sitting down or if you were one of the ones laying down. I think at one point I laid down, and then I got back up. I think Cali Gold was laying down. He got back up.
We were legit. Yes, I do remember.
It was bad.
I do remember sitting. I would think I was sitting on the sidewalk outside the taco shop ordering an Uber.
Know what the name of the
but
taco
I was
shop
like,
was.
why am I ordering? I don't remember why I was. Yes.
You're like, I just want to get home.
We didn't. We got into the Uber and got kicked out of it.
Well, we got into it. It was the wrong one, and then he was like, "Sorry," he wouldn't let me adjust the destination because I told him I was like, "Oh, my bad.
Sir.
I put the bar that we just came from. We're trying to go down south, and blah. We have a few spots." And I think he was like, "I don't want to deal with this." He's like, "Get out," because I saw a cancellation charge that reminded me of the whole thing. I was like,
wait.
I was like, why did I get canceled?
On you? Oh, I'd hit him back up and be like, bro, he made me get
But
out.
I mean, I made him come. He came out there, and then I had the wrong address, so I could see where he was like, no, whatever, something like that.
Anyway, it was a fun time. It was a good night. The parts that I do remember, I had a great time. We had a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, we hit a few different bars. I think I have an apology to make to my friend that's a bartender at one of the bars. I think I got a little too happy touchy there. I remember at one point she's like, "You're very touchy tonight." I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
That must be why we left.
Well, I don't remember. It wasn't like we stayed long at any particular one.
No.
You probably remember walking over to the Sporting Life after here, the bar that's right around the corner. We actually walked over there, and it was from there that we went to the Keg, and then it was from the Keg we Ubered to the
to Dino's,
and Dino's where karaoke night was going. And thankfully, one of you two had the idea of tacos before my song came up, because Callie Gold put me in for a song. I can't remember what it was, but I know it was a song. I was like, please don't make me go up there and sing the song. But I was like, I'll do it. I can't remember what it was. I don't think it was like George Michael or Wham or somebody, but it was a very, very fruity song, if I can remember right.
Dino's is a fun place to do karaoke. I'm not even a karaoke guy, but it's so funny because, like, you'll go from – first of all, Dino, I just want to give Dino's a shout. If
Dino's
you're ever in
best.
Vegas – if we're here, seek us out. We'll take you there.
Yeah.
If not, go on your own, because it's like this 50-year-old dive bar that you completely forget you're in Vegas. It's right on the Strip, and it feels like no other place in town. And I love going there, man. I really do love going there. Don't remember being there, but I do love going there. But it's a funny place for karaoke. And they don't do karaoke all the time, but when they do karaoke,
like Thursday, Friday, Saturdays.
It's funny because one minute you'll have the typical horrifically drunk, no business being up there person.
Yeah.
And then the next song will be like somebody that their day job is working in a show on the Strip.
They sing,
and
they just for a living.
Right. And they just come there and you're like, what just happened?
Like, I don't want to go up after that.
I'm not following that up. So, man, it was a good night. Again, the parts that I remembered were a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it's great.
And
so if you ever get a chance to hang out with James or Callie Gold, if that's what he prefers to go on this channel, or if you hear him and he chimes in,
he's a good cat.
He's a good cat.
Just
he's
be ready.
Based out of the LA area, and be prepared.
He comes out here pretty frequently, and I don't know if I'm good with that or not. Like
it was a legit 2-day hangover, 2+ day hangover,
bro.
I'm too old for this shit.
Bro, yeah. I think we finally got in around like 4:30 or something. Which
because I remember it was around 3:30ish or so when we were having the whole debacle about trying to get in the Uber. I remember just sitting there thinking like, I want to die, and I'm going to die on the Strip outside of a random taco joint because I just want to go home.
Oh, man. But it did take me like 2 days to get right, which that's not – I mean, it didn't used to be that way, but –
No, I can't do that stuff anymore.
So shout out
once
to James,
a year.
man.
If he comes once a year, I can handle once a year, I think.
I think he comes out here like every other month or so,
but
bro.
Once a year I'll allow that to happen. Like that was fun.
It was good because it was a non-event week, so we didn't have to wake up for fights the next day. We didn't have to, you know what I mean? Like it was fun. Shout out to my wife too, who she's like, go do whatever you want. I don't care. She's like, just don't drive. Just don't drive, you dummy.
And that's what we tell you. You guys come into town, man, and you let us know. We want to hang out. James went hard. James went hard in the paint.
My goodness. That was fun. All right. Speaking of our friends, want to give a quick shout out as well to Oscar Willis and Ben Davis. How about that, man? I mean, they got this fight coming up October the 12th in Marbella, Spain. Marbella, beautiful ocean. Is that what that means? That's what it translates to. Beautiful ocean. So they're going to do a BKFC fight over in Spain. But I just want to give them a shout out because we've seen them creating some content together, and it's pretty cool to see because I got to host a little back and forth between them, a little I don't know, face off, if you will. Yeah. And obviously they're both really good promoters and entertainers, and so they wanted to have a little fun, and I appreciate them having me in to host that. But cool to see too that. No bad blood, you know what I mean? Even though they're going to go have
fun with it.
Right? Yeah. Like, look, they're going to have to go punch each other in the face with bare knuckles, you know what I mean? But it's not like I'm sure maybe behind the scenes there's some ego and there's some pride. There always is in a fist fight, right? But it's cool to see that they're really good-spirited about it. Even when you give them chances to take shots at each other, it's more like just breaking balls, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you would do with your friends, more than like really cutting deep and getting nasty. And
I mean,
it's cool.
You see a lot of because I know he comments or does commentary for Misfit stuff, right? In boxing. You see a lot of shit that happens with like the YouTube, what do you call it, influencer fights. They always get sort of heated, but it's like part of it's for like the views and whatever. Right. These guys generally appreciate and respect each other. It's not like they're best buds, but they're friendly with each other.
Right.
So they're keeping it cordial. They're keeping it fun. They're having a lot of fun with it. But yeah, as much as they want to and could possibly like go hard at each other, one might like that more than the other. But they're keeping it. There's the ride talking.
There's the ride talking.
Let's go. But no, they're keeping it fun. They're keeping it clean. They're
Yeah.
having a good time with it, and it was fun seeing them, do the little back and forth, do the face-off. There's a lot of respect there. Both guys are going to go out there and give it, a good, effort.
Oh, they're going at it, man.
Yeah, and I told Oscar, and I've telling him this the whole time. I was like, bro, this is for real.
Yep.
I was like, you need to take this serious because you're going in there and it's bare knuckle. I was like, Ben's done some fights before. You've done your amateur fight and you've done this. I was like, I know both guys are going to take it serious, but it's cool. Ben, I gave him all the credit, man. He drove into town, like 4-hour drive to do like the promo shoot.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? He
Stuff.
came in from Phoenix.
Got to give the dude the respect. I mean, as much people that might shit on some of the things that he goes out and says on social media, the guy does the work, man. He's built a great little fucking platform for himself.
You can't question the work ethic,
Yeah,
bro. You cannot
fucking killer. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And look, I've had conversations with Ben Davis where I'm like, bro, you got to settle down on some of this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like what you're doing here. I think you're making a mistake here, and I don't mind saying that because I always say what you say to somebody's face. I've said it to his face.
Yeah.
But regardless of what you think of any of that, I'm telling you, that dude works his ass off,
Yeah.
bro. That dude,
You could tell.
That dude grinds.
You
man.
could tell, and that's why I told Oscar. I was like, "You better take it serious," because you could tell that Ben's going to be training hard. And I was like, and I know, but luckily I see Oscar doing the work, so I
Right.
know that he's working hard for it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the fight.
It's
So
the hard part about BKFC, especially, and it's obviously any fight, any combat sports, but especially BKFC, is the cuts can happen so easily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like. I don't want to say randomness to it because it's not randomness, but there's things that can happen. You get sliced over the eye. And
Yep.
I'll be interested to see. I mean, obviously we don't know about the athletic commission over in Spain and that sort of thing, and how comfortable they're going to be.
Atletico Commissioner.
Comercial Atletico. Very well done, sir. Well done, sir. But yeah, like I mean, are they going to be a little bit freaked out if there's a cut? Like for instance, I mean, we've seen it.
It's in a bullfighting ring. I think they're okay.
They kill bulls
They
in there,
literally
bro.
kill things
They literally
in here. They halfway mortally wound these animals. Then they let somebody finish them off in front of people as a spectacle.
Somebody else would like that. Oh, yes.
That's the
Rye is
whiskey
talking. No, but you know what? But yeah, shout out to those guys. It was fun to do a little back and forth between them. I don't. It'll be released very soon. I think they got.
Yeah, I think he's got some plans to get some. I know Ben wanted to grab some of the footage and do some of it on his own. So yeah, I love the fact that they're really working hard to help promote it.
Yep.
I think BKFC, they were wise enough to understand that both these guys are serious and they're going to do the work to build it. I was watching the BKFC Prospects show the other day. And I don't know why, but I was hoping to see some mention of it. There was
teaser, a
nothing.
little promo.
There was nothing. So I'm glad that these guys are doing the work on their own. Some of the clips that Oscar's already put out has been real funny. So I'm looking forward.
Yeah, his little thing out in the desert or whatever.
I know Ben's going to counter with some of his own good shit. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's fun. It's a fun, lighthearted thing where what's the best part is that it actually is going to end with a fist fight. It's one thing just to have playful banter, talking shit back and forth. That happens all the time. But at the end of the day, it's all building up to an actual fist fight that these guys are going to have in a bull ring in another country.
Amazing,
it's just crazy.
I love it. I mean, what a story they're going to have for their whole lives.
That's it.
It's an amazing story. And again, and I mean this, and I've always said it, so it's not like anything, but props to anybody that gets in there and does this, right?
Yep.
Like, look, the level of their fighting. When they go in there and fight, they're going to feel a lot better in their head about how they look than how they actually look from the outside, right? They're amateurs. They're beginners. But they're doing it. They're doing the damn thing, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think they deserve a lot of respect for that, man.
And you see that from coming out from some of the fighters that are associated or that know him as well. They're like, dude, regardless of whatever, I'm props, man.
Yep.
You're crossing the line. You're putting the camera down, you're putting the microphone down, and you're jumping into it. Even though it's just a little glimpse, it's a little bit of the lifestyle. But they're actually doing it. So I've seen some people just give them their props. Obviously, Izzy and his crew and Hooker and all those guys. Funny individuals, but die-hard athletes. I enjoy seeing them give Oscar his props because I know he eats that shit up. So I love it. I love it. So
but
it's cool.
And that's the thing. And I think they're getting. And obviously, you're getting to work with Oscar because he's obviously home base out of here of the Strong Coffee Gym. Doing the strength and conditioning over here. So if he misses weight, we'll put it on you. You know what I mean?
Don't put the weight one on me.
But he's but. It's the psychological aspect of it, right? And that's the thing about fighting, I think, that people don't think about sometimes, right? Is that, like, everybody gets praise for what Dan Ige did, right? And he deserves a hell of a lot of praise for it. But the truth is, damn near everybody on the roster would take that same opportunity. Now it's they want to go and fight, right? And everybody on the roster, whether it be the UFC, PFL, Bellator, whatever, if you were like in a bar and shit went down, they're cleaning the place out, right? Because they know, but there's something different about signing your name to a contract and then having a name, a date, a place. And every day you're waking up and you have to think about that. And it's in your head.
Every day it gets closer.
You know what I mean? Like
closer.
You're thinking about and you're thinking about, what's that guy doing? What's that guy doing right now? Like, man, I'm a little bit tired, right? But that dude, I bet that dude's running a marathon today. Meanwhile, that dude's probably laying in bed too, going like, I just need a day off, man. I'm hurt. You know what I mean? But in your head, that dude's the killer. It's this weird psychological thing that I think even us as like hardcore fans, like we just get kind of desensitized to it because what do? We watch 24 guys and girls go do it every weekend. You know what I mean? But you forget about that psychological mind fuck that they're going through on the way to the build up, man. And it's tough. And so these guys are going through it, man, and I just want to give them their props, man.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. It should be interesting. I just hope it's a good fight. I not that I'm like I want both guys to make sure they get a couple good shots. I mean, Ben's a great guy. He's a nice guy, but Oscar's like family, so it's like obviously I want Oscar to go in there and knock him out, but I also don't want him to get too banged up. But I wouldn't mind seeing a nice fight,
a little back and forth.
A little back and forth. Show the heart, show people the work that you guys put into it, so like actually have it be like a fun fight that people can actually remember because neither guy I think has any aspiration to do another bare knuckle fight after this one. So it'd be really cool to see something like this. Neither guy needs to come out looking like Rocky did in some of his movies where his eyes halfway down his face and other shit, but it's like it would be cool to see both guys get some good knocks in there, make it a fun competitive sport fight, and then obviously, if Oscar win, I would be happier out of the two. But either or, I want both guys to go in there and have a good time. And
I think Ben says he's got a gig the next week.
Does he?
He's got an on-camera gig like the following week.
But I mean, like, but that's the kind of shit. I mean, like, that's mad respect. You could wear sunglasses probably in part of it, and then literally your co-partner on the mic he's just gonna playfully tease him. If he's showing some face, like, well, you understand what's going on, Ben. I mean, obviously, all it takes is look at you 1 second. You know, I mean, like, so good on him. I mean, that's another example of that dude fucking hustles, man. He grinds, man. He stays busy, man. So all credit to him, man.
We we always have respect for guys that have a hustle like that, man. That grind. I will say, man, the face-off. I thought Ben was big in my head.
He's taller,
but barely. Not a lot. I thought Ben was a lot bigger than Oscar. They're actually closer in size than I thought they were.
And I did notice that as well. And I've actually, since I've worked out with Oscar, like Oscar, to me, even though he was just slightly a bit shorter, feels like he's thicker.
Right.
He's more built out.
I've been putting my strong coffee gym gets results,
like, we
bro.
do work here,
you know what I'm saying?
There's numbers on the wall.
Bro.
There's numbers on the wall.
They are. You got right. My man, dude, y'all don't even see the details. This guy's got like a schedule for like when you're going to hit your PRs and your max outs and all that stuff.
Some of that went to the wayside, but it was a good idea. But, I mean, like, and that was the idea of like the whole thing is like, I want you to walk in and see what your best has been. And can you beat your best on the wall? Can you look at the wall? Are you there? So like days when he goes and he travels and he comes back, he's like, man, I don't even know if I'd hit my PR that's on the board. And I said, well, that's on you.
Let's go.
Let's do something about it.
Look at that.
It's just that accountability. But I mean, there ain't nothing more accountable than looking on a calendar and seeing that you have a fight in 6 weeks out. Like, who's going to hold you accountable for that? That's a whole thing on him. And as much as we love Oscar. We know Oscar also. He is fly by the seat of your pants. Kind of goes out with where there's a good time. Oscar wants to probably be there. So the fact that he's pulling it back and he's focused on this fight, I'm very, very proud of like what he's doing. He's doing the work, and I'm grateful because, man, when you reflect the strong coffee, Jim, I want the best athlete ever out there.
Oh, I love it. So mark your calendars, everybody. October 12th. I'm assuming, I haven't seen a schedule, but assuming it'll be in prime time over there, which means actually even better for us. It'll be like in the daytime, I imagine, for us to watch. Fights. We love daytime fights. You don't have to wait all day. You get into it.
What day is it again?
Saturday, October the 12th in Marbella, Spain.
Ooh. So that's the same day as Roval versus Tyra?
I know.
The UFC Vegas 98?
Hell of a fight there.
Yeah.
Phenomenal fight.
So I have a little
time.
Dual windows, dual computers.
Maybe we can just ask the UFC to just, hey, I need you to stand down for a second. Our boys are making their walk. Hey,
can we put this up on the screen?
Yeah. Let's. If you guys want to cut to the desk, let's have our man Alan Joban fill in with Michael Chiesa over here and KB. Y'all talk for a little while because we're watching this. We're watching this. We need to put this up on the screens.
I think they'd understand.
And by the way, I don't want it just in the screens in the press room. I actually want it in the screens in the Apex.
In the Apex.
The big. Everybody's going to see it.
Yeah.
Shout out to those guys, man. That was fun this week, and obviously we'll have some time to talk about that. All right. Look, we have an event this weekend, and we'll talk about that a little bit. You know, you were at Media Day, a very pared-down Media Day yesterday. Actually, only 6 athletes because of some changes to the schedule. And then,
but
of course, then you had an open workout.
Yeah, I was going to say it still ran right up to the thing. For a while there, we thought it was going to get done early. Like, we were halfway through.
So I was
before
working
noon, and we were like, let's go.
Then you had like an hour break because I was watching your stream from home.
Oh,
and
brutal.
Yeah, you had like an hour break. And then you had your open workouts afterwards, so it was a busy day for you.
Day.
So we will talk about that briefly, but I'm just gonna let you know right now, the MMA Roadshow is a Noche UFC fan account, basically. Like, bro, I'm getting excited, man. The Sphere show is next week, and of course we'll talk about it next week. And next week I think we'll probably talk. I imagine we'll talk more about the fights, but I'm sure we're still gonna be talking about the spectacle of it because I'm so excited to see this thing. And I've seen some criticism of the card. I guess 2 title fights plus Ortega and Lopez, that in itself is a hell of a base for a card. So I guess some criticism is okay, maybe, whatever. But to be honest with you, I'm not even worried about the card. I'm just the spectacle itself of what we're going to see, the venue itself. And maybe the reason that a lot of the people aren't and I don't want to speak for both of us, but I feel like we're kind of in the same boat. As excited as we are, is that they haven't been in the venue. We've actually seen what the venue is capable of, and even though we don't completely know the UFC's vision for it, by the way, we kind of nailed it. I saw Jedi Goodman on Twitter posted a snippet of an article from the Hollywood Reporter where he talks about the fact that it was an interview with Craig Brassari, and it talks about the fact that each fight will have like a different background behind it, and it will take you to a different place, a different locale, a different world as it progresses you through this history of Mexico. And there's, I think they said 6 90-second short films throughout that'll kind of bridge the gap between it to kind of tell the story. But, dude, I think from the very beginning, once you and I were in there, we were like, here's what they're going to do. Because I think at first we were like, what? In fact, I remember talking about, like, what are they going to do? What are they going to put on the screen? And then, we saw some things in there. Like, oh, I get it now. They're going to do like at the U2 show where suddenly you're transported into the desert. Or suddenly you're transported onto the Las Vegas Strip. And it sounds like we nailed it. And I'm excited. I think that's smart because for the very beginning, different camera feeds and corner feeds and stat boxes. And we were like, that doesn't even seem to make sense. It sounds like they kind of had the same vision that we thought it would be.
And it's one thing when you see like images on a screen that are very 2D and you're like, okay, look, that looks like a jungle. Okay, there's a jungle background. The depth and the pixels and everything that's capable, it will look like you're looking through a jungle. There's so much depth that it's unbelievable how they're able to set it back.
I want you to continue to elaborate on that because you understand tech better than I do. But if anybody hasn't seen this, go to my Twitter feed, and I retweeted this thing. There's a show that's opening, I think tonight, maybe even tonight or tomorrow. It's this weekend. It's called VU2. And it's basically a concert film of when U2 was performing there. This woman, I believe she works in PR or she's a Las Vegas influencer basically. She's in media here or whatever. And I saw her clip of it and I retweeted it. And she talks about how this will mess with your eyes. If you watch this clip, it's basically just a film of U2, but it feels like you, to the point that I sent it to you. You were busy at the time. You were at Media Day, but I'm like, did you check this out? And you were like, yeah, bro, I've seen this. Like, I was at the concert. What about it? And I'm like, that's not the concert, bro. I'm like, that's the movie of the concert. But so I encourage anybody that didn't see that tweet that I retweeted to look at my Twitter feed and see this because it will completely F with your mind to exactly what you said. I don't know if it's the resolution or the color depth or what, but it feels 3D. If you look at this clip, it will mess with your mind to think that U2 is actually right there.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, because it's not like a 2D flat image. It's you feel the depth. You're able to see the depth. So like when I was there for that show, there was a point I think we talk about in the show like where these helicopters flew from the background in the back of the desert view and they came up, and you're watching them grow in size, and it didn't look like you're watching like just like like if you're watching a video game, you ever seen like a something flying in the screen, it just sort of comes and then it's just
Right.
full size, and you're like, okay. But there's so much information that's being able to shared in the screen that you literally watch it grow in size, and it literally mimics like what you would see out in the real world. So when you're watching this thing, you kind of get lost in the moment. Like you literally can feel yourself sort of transport, because once you shut down and your brain is able to recognize it not as just like a flat image, but something that it's used to seeing out in the real world, your brain helps you like sort of transport into that environment.
Yep.
So I think if they're able to do that here and, say set some of these settings where if you're literally there, you might feel that you're actually looking into a jungle scene as opposed to looking at a picture of a jungle. The backdrop will be moving. They can have, trees actually swaying. You can see animals. When Fish was there and some other ones, they showed different shots of the Vegas Strip. And even when YouTube did it, they had like when the Vegas in the backdrop, you'd see a parking garage. You'd actually see cars moving and going between the things and actually spiraling down like they were leaving the garage. You saw people walking on the streets. You saw people driving the car, and it literally
Your brain
looked
can't
like
comprehend that it's not.
it looks exactly like how you would think it
Yep.
if you were in that elevated position looking down onto it. So that's how crazy in depth and how great the picture is. So when I saw the clip of the U2 and you start looking at it, how I envision like what they're doing and how I think that might carry over to this, and we chatted about this a little bit beforehand. When most people are watching a concert there at the venue, you're looking downward and you see the stage, which makes up a small square in the middle of this floor, and it's at a decent distance. So these cameras that shot this U2, from what I can take from the thing, when you watch the viewing, they have a limited area where you're viewing because they want you to see exactly how they wanted you to see this view of where you're able to look up and the other sort of things. So imagine if they could shoot the octagon, place it up in the screen to where you don't need to look down onto the ground. You don't need to look at the floor because it's going to look small, but they can literally take that image and push it up higher to where you can look like, if say you bought the lower bowl of an octagon now, you have that nice perfect view where you're able to look over the people and everything
Right.
is nice and large. I can imagine it looks like that, but for everybody.
And transport, like the image is on the rendered background already, and so
Already
that
on the
it
background,
feels like,
and then you could have it literally setting around where there could be, and then you could place like trees in front of it. So say if you want to have a couple trees, and then the octagon's set maybe 20 feet into the jungle, but it's still bigger than life. Like it's so amazing what they're going to be able to do.
I'm
interested to see the movies, like you said, the history. I wonder if it's going to take it through the history of Mexico leading up into the independence that they're actually celebrating, whether we're going to see the rise and fall of the civilizations,
Oh, you have
the
to.
Aztecs and all the other kind of
'Cause
stuff.
you
We're going to
have
see
to.
that whole period of time.
I will say that the Mexican culture does a much better job of like glorifying that time. You know what I mean? Than like I feel like American culture, like we don't even. It's like
I mean,
it's like the
it was
ground
just-
started in 1776
Yeah.
and there was nothing here before. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they do a great. You know it's funny to say this. In my travels to Fight League Atlanta over in Canada, it's pretty cool. Like even on the plane, they like how they have like the map of like where you are. They'll say the original land of the so and so tribe, like stuff like
that's
that.
cool.
Like it's super cool. Anyway, that's way off of a tangent, but they definitely will. Yeah, it's just amazing, man. I'm fired up for this show, man. And now how it translates to TV, God only knows. I have no idea how it translates to TV. But the live experience is going to be amazing. I think people that maybe from the outside are like, they said it was going to be an amazing event. Like, look at this car. I mean, I get it. I get what you said. But I think you have to look at this as something completely unique. Like, don't judge this against any other UFC card. It's like an artistic presentation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is not to be compared to any UFC card you've ever seen before, and it sounds like maybe that you'll ever see again. This is insane, and I mean the Sphere you can't.
Yeah.
You have to, if you come to Vegas, come to Dino's. Also, if you come to Vegas, go to the Sphere.
Yeah.
Even if you don't catch one of the big concerts, they have like the Sphere Experience, movies. So until you're inside that building, you can't comprehend what it's actually capable of.
Yeah, it definitely it's a leap into a giant mind fuck. But I imagine for the show on TV, you're still going to have the cameras and different cameras located around the octagon. You're still going to get the gist of that. I would just imagine it being supplemented with the video rolls that are going to be on the screen are going to get laid out. Those are going to get played out onto the broadcast.
Yep.
And I imagine you're going to see shots that incorporate the actual scene of the Sphere on the inside. You're going to see fan shots that cut, but they're going to be wider, grander scheme, and they'll probably have some different angles that encompass part of the whatever location background.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be the whole thing. Like when you're watching the fight, I imagine they want to see the fight. People that watch the fight on TV are used to a certain thing, so I don't think they'll get away from that too much.
Right.
So I don't think they're going to take shots that are going to be so wide just to encompass the background.
Right.
But I bet they would throw in some shots at key moments, maybe when the in between rounds when they're talking
I was
to
gonna say between
pan
rounds,
the crowds, show some of that really cool shit, and just let people see like this is. Imagine what it's like for those that are in the room, you know. But I would think for the actual broadcast, it's going to be. You're not going to get something that you're going to
feel like
it's still going to feel like a UFC
during the fight
broadcast.
itself.
It's just going to be plussed up a little bit, and you're going to have some different, unique stuff. And I guarantee all those cool little movie roles are going to be played through. And that, I mean, that's like anything. You could see when you see a movie in IMAX, it's incredible because you see it up on this giant screen. But when you see it on your TV, it's still cool.
Right.
It's just not IMAX version, you know. So that's what I imagine some of that stuff. But I think people will enjoy whatever this thing is. I mean, I do want to bring this up. And I was thinking about this because I keep almost feeling like I'm fudging numbers. Everybody says, or Dana, everybody seems to quote Dana saying like this show cost $20 million or whatever. Wasn't it just Riyadh season's investment was $20 million?
No, he said that they're $20 million into production. I think the first number was 17, and then he got to like 20.
So did we never hear what Riyadh was?
We don't know what they paid.
Okay.
Yeah, but somebody asked.
I don't know why I thought
I know exactly.
They said that they put $20 million in.
No, I know exactly why, because he was asked, and I think it was Alan Dawson maybe asked him about why he got Riyadh season, or he was asking about the partnership or how they got involved or why they got involved, and he was like, because I'm $20 million into production. I think that's why it got associated.
But no, I felt like I heard that before. Like once it first was starting, when we heard that Riyadh season, right around the time when they got the naming rights or something. I thought I remember hearing.
No, I don't think they ever disclosed the dollar figure.
Maybe not.
No, that's where I think you may have
because I thought I heard that it was $20 million, and then I kept hearing it was $20 million. I was like, all right, so they haven't paid anything on this. They're just using Riyadh season
100%.
money.
That's what they're doing. Well, it's 100% what they're doing, but that's what you do, right? You take in income to offset your expenditures.
Yeah.
But it is funny. I've actually seen some stuff on social media where I guess it's more like boxing-centric media, because I guess what's interesting is I think from what I've seen, and again, this is social media, so you never know, and the algorithms these days and what you get populated with, I don't know, but it seems like they are looking at this very much as we're taking Canelo versus the UFC that night. I honestly feel like, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just because we don't cover boxing as much, but like, I know they're going head-to-head on the same night, and I know Dana opened up the other day about how pissed he was about T-Mobile Arena and why they were willing to take that date, before talking to him, but I don't feel like this is a UFC versus Canelo thing. Like, maybe it's because I'm just so excited about this event and being so unique and what it is. But it's going to be an incredible show, man. And it's just, bro, I'm fired up. I can't wait.
Now I'm starting to think why I heard that $20 million. Didn't the first deal, and I'm seeing somebody, and this popped up in Reddit, and I thought the first deal with the UFC going over to Saudi, wasn't that a $20 million investment?
Did they disclose the numbers?
I thought I remember seeing something like that. And then we're just going off this title, which is whatever. And Damon Martin, we're just going off Damon. Well, I guess I wonder if I should read Damon. So Damon put UFC signed a new deal to return to Saudi Arabia for almost double the rights fee for a second event after June 22nd per TKO President Mark Shapiro. First deal was reportedly $20 million. This new one likely hits close to $40 million.
Good call.
And sounds like they are open to further expansion. That was from May 20th, 2024.
I didn't remember that. Good call. Well, you're right, because it's a publicly traded company, so the financials
that's what
have
everybody
to be
was
disclosed.
saying, like, that they weren't happy with the first fights that the UFC was trying to put over there, and a lot of people were saying like, oh, well, they put $20 million in. So I wonder if the money for Riyadh or for Noche was extra, or if they were like, part of that was for this thing and that. But that's ultimately why I think I was hearing 20 million at some point. And then when I hear Dana say we're 20 million in, I'm like, that's like all Riyadh season money.
Yeah, we're good. We're clear. We're clear. It's funny. So I got sidetracked because it was the Rye talking. But I've seen some boxing media posting that like the UFC is losing $20 million on this event. Like,
Bro.
That's not what they said.
No.
It cost $20 million. Like,
yeah.
That's what it. But guess what the gate is?
$20 million.
Yeah. Guess what the production is? Guess what the the sponsorships are? Guess you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, you're getting revenue on this. They're not losing money. So I've been surprised to see that thing.
Divided by 3,000 is 6,666. How many seats are in there?
Like 16,000. They have lowered the prices. The
I
prices
know, but
have
just
come
saying,
down.
say if roughly like
I think
some were higher than.
I think he told Ioli the other day that it's going to be like a $21 million gate. So if
That's awesome.
it's a wash.
That's a wash.
It's a wash.
That's a wash because I mean that'll cover it, and that covers production. I guarantee that covers production and probably salaries as well. That's how they used to always work it out. Was that
the gate should cover
the payouts of all the fighters
Yep.
and everything like that, and the production, and then the broadcast money was pocketed.
I'm fired up.
It's gonna be interesting.
I can't wait.
I just hope I get to we've heard at one point we were gonna be out in a tent. And then, for those of us that have to do interviews, those of us that have to sit out outside. I don't know what it's like for you.
I remember the days.
But
I'm actually, by the way, I'll lay it out now. I will not be at Media Day next week. I'm actually hosting UFC Unfiltered on Wednesday. So I just got that notice
Amy
yesterday.
Kaplan,
so
did you get that?
Put it out there. I will not be at Media Day, unfortunately.
That's too bad. Wait, were you at this Media Day?
I was not. Listen. You have probably correctly predicted my demise of media days. I don't know that there's going to be a lot of those in my future. There's some things happening behind the scenes. I don't know that there'll be a lot of media days moving forward.
Yeah, but it's fun. But no, I'm looking forward to see what it is. I know that we've heard things of like that the media will be inside the sphere at some point in some space. And that they're maybe going to rotate people in and out so people can experience it for a little bit.
You got to at least come.
I hope so. I hope I'm not like just sitting in the back, like staring at a screen, which I see every other event at. It'd be cool to at least watch a fight and just get a little bit of the gist. Once I see a little bit of it, I understand. I don't need to see the full thing. Let me see a little bit of the spectacle. Let me see a little bit of the video.
Let me see a little bit of the video package.
I want to see a video package. I want to see a fight that takes place, somewhere atop a fucking pyramid.
Yeah, we should talk to them actually, like, because there's only 6 video packages, so they're not going to be through every fight, right? So normally you guys can come out and watch like the first fight of the night, right?
Yeah.
Which you guys absolutely should. But we should also talk to PR and ask them if they can hold like the first winning fighter or something. You know what I mean? So that you guys can come out, like you said, and experience the full one of those video packages, the presentation. You know what I mean? Like you guys, oh dude, I wonder if they're gonna play Bob O'Reilly on that big ass screen.
Oh, that whole opening?
The whole opening montage. Anybody that's been to a live event knows exactly what I'm talking about, which, by the way, I think a lot of people that are listening probably already know, but the original version of that, if you didn't, funny little trivia tidbit, was created by Sean Shelby. He actually created the very first video montage to Bob O'Reilly. It's obviously been updated and changed ever since. But, yeah, he likes to edit video and that sort of stuff as well. So, yeah, they got to figure that out so you guys can come out and experience all that.
It's funny. I was just trying to do a quick Google search of, like, how many like major ancient civilizations they've been in Mexico. This one says 7. Another one I saw 5, but you got the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Mixtecs, the Zapotecs, Olmecs, Teotihuacan, Toltecs.
Yep.
You imagine the god who spotlight the major like huge empires of Mexico, and what because those were all warrior nations. Like they're all warrior civilizations. Like I'm so looking forward. And you figure if they're spending as much money to hire like all these crazy directors and all this other shit, it's going to look badass.
Oh,
it's going to be legit. It's not going to be like, hey guys, I want you guys to hop in a couple costumes and go like dance around or whatever. Like it's going to be legit. Like I would think like watching actual movies is going to be intense.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Talk about again. We'll talk about the fights and all that. I mean, obviously. By the way, main event is sick. It's so funny because. Depending on who you talk to, it's either an easy win for Sean O'Malley or it's an easy win from Rob Dvalishvili. Like, I happen to be one of those people that's right down the middle that goes like, dude, I'm so excited for this. But it's funny because it feels there's certain people you talk to, they're just like, bro, Sean's not going to be able to deal with Marab's wrestling. Like, that pace, that wrestling, like that grind? No way. And then there's other people that are like, bro,
Sean's gonna
Marab
piece
gets
him up.
touched. Sean's going to put Sean, you know what I mean? And you know what? I can't argue with either of them. Either possibility is very true. You were absolutely right about that.
I think it might be a fight week. I've always, up to this point, been leaning so much Marab. But man, he's so erratic recently. He's just so wild and just feels like a wild gun just out doing shit. I just hope he's doing the work smartly. I think that might be a game week decision for me because I've been leaning Marab, but man, I might switch to Sean fight week.
It's funny because I think I'm in the same boat as you. I have been a Marab Dvalishvili supporter from the beginning because I just believe that if you're designing a mixed martial artist, you want somebody. If I can push the pace on you for 25 minutes, 100%, I don't go down at all. My shots don't change. My timing does which he does.
Yep.
And I had that type of grappling. I can put you on your ass over and over again.
Yep.
I may not hurt you a lot while you're there, but I'm going to keep you off your feet. You're going to be on your back trying to work free the whole time. And over, we've talked about this before, over and over. You know how to get up. I got to turn to a hip. I got to push down on the head. I got to stand. I got to break the grip. But you have to do it over and over and over.
Yep.
So I tend to lean towards Marab.
Yep.
But Sean is so devastating on the feet, dude. He's so slick. The speed that he has, the angles, he's just he sees it. You know what I mean? He's out there juking and throwing, and it's just. Dude, I love this fight. And how great. I mean, they've both been fun on social media. They both, you know what I mean? They're just, come on, man. This
both
fight
guys'
is
last
awesome.
performances were just incredible. I mean, what we saw Marab do to Henry, and then you look at Sean, what he was able to do to Cheeto Vera, what he was able to do to Aljamain. Dude, both guys are fighting at just a crazy level right now. It's going to be intense.
Can't wait.
One thing that did sort of get swayed for me a little bit yesterday, open workouts. I've always kind of been back and forth as for, whether Alexa is going to be able to kind of do what she did to Valentina. Dude, Alexa hitting mitts and shit yesterday looked incredible to the point where I was like, okay, before I was leaning, I think I was going to give Valentina the chance again. I think I'm solidly in Alexa's corner for this one. After watching her hit yesterday, dude, it was powerful, it was fast, it was intense, and I love everything. Her mindset right now is just so solid. She's so into it. She's so just a perfect fighter right now. And I mean, she's fighting at a whole nother level right now.
There's no, and I kind of, the word that I'm about to use, I hate because I know now it's like a catchphrase on social media or whatever, but Valentina's aura, that aura around her is kind of gone. We talk about that with fighters.
Yep.
Mike Tyson back in the day. When Tyson was walking, you were already beat before the fight even started because you're like, oh my god. I think Valentina used to have that aura. You know what I mean? Where you're like, damn, she's just technically perfect. How do you beat her? She's a machine. But Alexa's been in there with her. You know what I mean? She's won. She's gone the distance. She's, you know what I mean? It's just a fighter. It's just a fighter.
And her striking, I feel like Alexa's striking it's getting better and better and better. And not that Valentina isn't improving. I feel like we've seen the best of her. I feel like what we're seeing is she's still at that great level.
Yep.
But Alexa is eclipsed that. And now at a point, I felt like I would never say Alexa had the same striking as what Valentina. And now I'm like, after seeing her the last fight, I feel like she's made bigger improvements in her overall game than what Valentina. I still feel like Valentina, while she's better than most girls in that division, I just feel that I don't want to say the word plateau is sort of has a negative connotation.
It does.
But I feel like she has plateaued at a certain point where I feel like Alexa was still increasing.
But that's fair, right? If you plateau, but your plateau is 99,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
This just happens to be the one person that's at 100 right now, above it.
You know what I mean? It's incredible. And bro, Ortega versus Lopez. I mean, come on.
He was hitting. But I will tell you, the person that stole the show from me yesterday, Ronaldo Rodriguez, hitting the mitts.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Cracking.
Dude is Daniel Zellhuber is a badass.
Yes.
Daniel looked slow and looked like he was just he was not going crazy hard, obviously, but watching a guy next to him that literally looked like he was going at 100% but had plenty of energy. He was dancing, he was lighthearted, he was smiling, he was loving the fact that he was doing it in front of Mexican media, primarily Mexican media present. And dude, go and watch the YouTube. I didn't do anything crazy about with the edit. I literally just threw most of the clips together so that people could make their own judgments. I was going to separate Rodriguez and Zellhuber because I wanted to make sure that Rodriguez got a shine.
Right.
And I felt like it would overpower Zellhuber. But honestly, when I was looking at it, I was like, Zellhuber, while it would have been fine on its own, I felt like it would have been sort of like just overshadowed by the Rodriguez clip. So I just left them together so that people could watch. Because there were some clips that I shot that they're on the mats together. Because they were on the mats at the same time doing it together. It's just they had two different. Nixick was holding mitts for Zellhuber, and I don't know the gentleman's name that was holding the mitts for Rodriguez, but dude, holy cow.
I'll check it out.
He stole the show yesterday. I mean, as for somebody that was hitting it, and some of the flying, spinning back kicks and crazy flying knees this dude was doing, I was just like, holy cow. And he's fighting, is it O'Day Osborne?
O'Day Osborne, yep.
And I like O'Day. I like O'Day.
O'Day.
O'Day has got a rough day in front of him.
Bro,
this kid is impressive.
How fired up is everybody going to be when they walk into that venue?
Yep.
Bro, it's going to be.
It's going to be nuts.
Oh, I can't wait till next week. All right, listen, real quick, since we're talking about Riyadh season, what do you think about this Turkey Al-Sheikh thing saying about the pay-per-view prices, that he's going to drop pay-per-view prices and that's going to combat
I respect
piracy?
his thinking. I mean, I don't think it's going to do much to combat piracy. It's funny. Dana said his little thing. Did you see Stream East? I saw some clip where Stream East was like, "Bring it, Dana," or whatever. Yeah. I was like, "Geez."
What did they had? Yeah, I did see that. By the way, I didn't know Stream East had a Twitter account. To be honest,
I know that's why I'm like, somebody's fucking. Somebody might have just been trolling them.
Maybe it's just a troll.
Yeah.
But I saw
Who's
they had
going to actively go out and try to say something?
Because it would be dumb to have, like, right. But I did see they had they tweeted one at because I think they had multiple tweets in them. But there was one that was like, it was a T-shirt that was in the stylized logo of like UFC Fight Pass. It said increased fighter pay, and it was like in the stylized logo. I was like, damn, dog.
Yeah.
Y'all getting...
I mean, I respect Turkey saying this. I mean, like, obviously in his mind, it's like, okay, well, you know, if 95% of the people are streaming illegally and nobody's paying this price point, if I lower it down to a respectable price that somebody's like, okay, that's like that's like 2 Starbucks large drinks.
Right.
That they'll maybe actually pay it as a thank you, and then they'll choose to buy it as opposed to looking for the means. Do I think it will combat piracy? No. I think the people that want to pirate something, whether you charge them $1 or $5, so they're used to paying $0.
You don't want to pay $1. Like I feel like, and listen, I don't stream illegally. I never have. I never will, because this is how I make my living, and so I think that would be incredibly hypocritical of me. But I've seen it out there, and I've seen that the quality now. Like I think there used to be a time where you'd be like, well, I was going to stream this one, but like this fight's so important to me that I want to make sure it doesn't buffer. I want to make sure it doesn't fail. Like I want to watch that.
Get like whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't get shut down
halfway through.
Like I think that used to be a thing when we were kids or younger growing up, and like I don't even think that's a thing anymore, because like the streams don't get shut down and they always happen and they're always there. But I think I'm in the boat of you. Is I think the people that are used to illegally streaming are not going to pay $1. It's like they don't want to give their credit card information. They don't want to go through the hassle of filling it out. They don't want to go through all that. So it doesn't matter if it's $60, $20, or $1. They're like, but I get it for free. So I like. I think you started out right. I appreciate his thought process, but I don't think it works.
Yeah. As for just a means of combating piracy, it's probably going to fail. But as a method to increase your pay-per-view buys, a 100% win.
But if it goes from 60 to 20, you now have to get 3 times as many buys to get even.
But if you're only getting, say, 100,000 pay-per-view buys at $60 or $70, but if you drop it to a 20 and say you immediately get 500,000 buys,
then you're on the plus side.
You're on the plus side.
Yeah.
So while it is dropping quite a bit, so say you cut the cost 75%. If you're getting an immediate 75% increase of people buying. One, you're getting people that are going to then want to repeat buy because as a thank you, like, oh, it finally reached a point where I'll actually pay for it, and if they're happy with that, they're probably going to do it again, So you're buying into your future buyers, and it's a thank you, and it's helping to make the sport accessible again. And I think that's part of what he was trying to say as well, was that they want the sport in front of eyeballs. That's how you keep the sport. That's how you introduce it to new viewers.
Right.
If it's a higher price point, the older, more established people, or the people with friends that maybe get together, they'll put their monies together, and they'll buy the pay-per-view.
Right.
But if it's at a lower price point, you actually have a chance that maybe the college kid and his buddy, or the guy that's in his 20s, the guy that's maybe younger, just has a startup family or something.
Right.
that normally wouldn't splurge $100 on a pay-per-view, but you put it at $20, he's like, babe, how about for this Saturday? Let's put this on and maybe we'll invite the friends over or something like that. I think it will help grow the sport, and I think at least I understand his thinking that'll help.
That's
keep
the
sport.
logic behind it.
That's the logic behind it. So I welcome the thought. I mean, but you're also, he's coming from a point where they have endless amounts of money over there. Like we've always said, like, are they really worried about making a profit over there? At this point, it seems like they're more than happy throwing money, crazy amounts of money. They're flying all these people over just to be seen at the venues. I mean, like, there's no way that it's actually profitable.
Right, there's zero chance.
So whereas a company here, if they're trying to make money, they can't just give the product away.
Right.
There's established sort of norms. But would it be cool if generally the cost of pay-per-views were less so that more people could watch it? It would be great. It'd be great for the sport. But they have a certain different point of leverage where, they don't have the same bottom lines that others have to meet. They want to, sort of take over the space. But I like it if he's really saying, hey, I'm doing this for boxing. I'm doing it for whatever. That's great because you have the breathing room to do that.
Yeah.
And I applaud him for trying it. As for if it's going to be a means to stop piracy, no, but I think it'll certainly get more people willing to actually legitimately buy it because it's taking the biggest factor out of it. I mean, it's cost prohibitive now. There's just too many events.
It's a lot.
So when you're thinking like, okay, well, I'm going to get this pay-per-view. I'm going to save up. I'm going to get this pay-per-view. Oh, damn, there's another big one next month.
Yeah.
Shit, I can't throw $100 every month
at a
sporting
event. If you're only a UFC
event.
fan, you're $1,000 in a year.
Yeah,
because if
crazy.
you're buying every pay-per-view, if you're buying Fight Pass, probably even a little bit more because you need ESPN Plus too. So now what I mean. Like, so yeah, you're $1,000 in, man. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask from your fan base.
It's tough times right now out there right now. Like, right, man.
Yep.
Fuck, bills are tight, man. So
yep.
Interesting, man. Like you said, I thought the motivation sounded like you said. I think he's got the right ideas in mind, but
it's from a good place.
I don't think it's going to be successful. We'll see what they do. All right, listen. We talked about one of our day one, long-time hardcore listeners doing us dirty over the weekend. But how about another long-time day one listener, Mark Fellows? He had a question, and I got to be honest with you. I kind of need to knock on wood before I even read his question here. Yeah. It kind of scared me when he mentioned it. And if this unfolds, I want everybody to put this on Mark Fellows' shoulders.
Yep.
This is Mark Fellows' fault.
Yep.
And he'll say, "Don't care. I'm going to Thailand to take a vacation."
Yeah,
How about
I'm gonna drink some beer. Y'all fuck off.
He said, "Hey, let me ask you a question." He's like, "Do you believe Jones and Miocic can be contractually obligated to fight Aspinall at Madison Square Garden should someone withdraw? Obviously, there will need to be an emergency plan in place. However, it would appear that Bones and Stipe only want to fight each other. Surely, we couldn't see a repeat of UFC 151. UFC 151, of course, the infamous fight when Dan Henderson got injured. Chael Sonnen stepped in. Jon Jones and team said we're not taking that on short notice. And Dana White had the infamous sport killer comment in the media call that we had. It's funny because we've kind of talked about this a little bit. And Eric McMahon has pointed this out on the show on Grind City Media about, like, there's no way either of these guys is going to take a short-notice fight, Stipe or Jon, to be honest with you. So, I mean, we say 151, and we're talking about Bones, you know what I mean, because obviously he's the common thread there.
Yep.
But Stipe, I don't see Stipe saying, oh, my bad, it's fight week and Jon's out. Yeah, I'll take Aspinall. Let's go. You know what I mean? I've waited this long. Like, I don't – so it is interesting. Can they be contractually obligated to fight? They can. You can write that into the contract. Are they? I don't know. But I don't think either one of them takes a fight willingly on short notice with Tom Aspinall. Now, that's answer one. They can be. I don't know that they have been. I don't know that anybody would disclose if they have been.
I was going to say, but I also think if they were at that point, it would have already been said. Because everybody's like, we want to see him fight Aspinall. We want to see the belts combined. I think if Dana wanted to calm everybody down, he'd say, just relax. If one of these guys drop out, they have to fight Tom.
Yeah.
Like, relax.
Yeah.
Could it be written into the contract? Sure. But is it beyond that point at this point? 100%.
I don't know if I've ever heard anybody call him Tom before. He's just always Aspinall. I like that.
Well, me and Tom, we go way, way back. But, I mean, like, this contract, and that Dana made a point to say, like, guys, this fight is already, it's contracted. This fight's happening. The contract for this fight was made a long time ago, before Aspinall even became a thing.
Right.
So, like,
you mean Tom?
Yeah, Tom. See, you threw me off there. So, like, if this fight was arranged and they were still waiting for something to happen while Tom existed out there with the actual interim belt, I think yes, that there could have been a potential where they could have worked this into a contract. But once the ink's dried, like nothing's changing the contract that's happening out there right now. Could they make? And I think if it was already, they would have said something about it, because that would have cool. Imagine if people are like, man, what if this fight never happens? But if Dana, he would have already said, guys, relax. If this fight doesn't happen, a fight is going to happen.
Right.
Now what we're getting is, well, I think if Jones wins, I think he's going to want to fight Tom.
Right.
And if Stipe wins, I think, I don't know about Stipe. I bet he might still want to fight him, even though he's like, I'm pretty sure Stipe is going to leave. I was like, bro, we all have that inclination. And you probably have the understanding that because he said it to you.
Yeah, because I think the
first time, don't want to say
I think the first time he ever mentioned that on a record, he was like, Stipe will retire. And then we brought it up again. He's like, well, you never know.
You never know. I was like,
that's not what you said like yesterday.
He's like, I still think he's going to retire, but you never know. I was like, you can't change your tune this far in, Dana. As for if we think it'd be 151, I don't think it'd be 151.
Nah.
MSG is too important. It's too big. It's the end of the year show. I think, if we can slam together some quick show at the Team Elbow where we can just, cram a headliner in there. If there's ever a show that they would have to save, it's the MSG show. I mean, there's no way they would cancel that show.
I agree.
It would be one. I think it would just be a really bad black eye on the UFC in that market, because MSG at the end of the year, I mean, like, everybody wants to have events at MSG towards the end of the year, and this, I mean, so I would think the show goes on regardless. I don't think anything's going to happen. Knock on wood, but regardless, if something did happen, the event's going to happen. Like, the UFC is going to be at Madison Square Garden, regardless. That's my belief.
I just got a vision of Conor McGregor walking into Madison Square Garden.
I came to save the day, y'all. I told you I'd be here. I told you I'd fight at the end of this year. Dana, I told you 2024.
I bet, like, that's got to be their immediate backup plan. If something happens, and by the way, I know a lot of people.
The only reason Conor hasn't fought is because of his injury,
right, and
his whatever. Yeah. So if he can make it, they can give him an exemption. They could do whatever. But if Conor's good, 100%.
That's got to be the backup
plan. Who's the opposite side though?
It's got to be the backup. Chandler's been waiting this long. He's coming in. Hey, I talked to Jorge Masvidal yesterday. Masvidal's getting back in the fold.
Masvidal says he wants to get back into it.
McGregor, Masvidal, Madison Square Garden?
That would be fun. I would take either one of those.
Yeah.
Shit, I'd take the Masvidal fight. Would be fun.
That would be fun.
Just because the fight week talk.
Oh, it would be amazing.
That's half the fun. That's half the fun of a McGregor fight week is just that shit talking. It gets obscene. It's ridiculous. But like Chandler, I want that guy to get the fight because he's been waiting for this fight for 18 years. Like he deserves this fight. His kids are going to be graduating before he gets to this fight. Yep. That's a joke because his kids are very small.
Yeah, but look, I think we're like everybody. The fight I most want to see is Aspinall and Jon Jones.
Yeah.
But sorry, Tom and John. That's the one I want to see most.
Tom.
But and when Dana had that discussion with Kevin Iole the other day, and then we talked about it a little bit. Like, I'm 100% on board with Kevin Iole in the pound for pound thing. But as far as them putting this fight together, like, bottom line is John and Stipe weren't going to accept a fight with anybody but themselves. Yep. So if you're a fan, like, first of all, think of it as a businessman. If you're thinking of a business, which obviously the UFC is, then you got to understand, like, they want to put this fight together, think about money, etc. Like, you want it. But bottom line is, John and Stipe were not going to sign to fight Tom Aspinall. So at that point, you either get John versus Stipe, or you get Tom versus, and then take your pick. Tom versus Cyril Gane, Tom versus Alexander Volkov, Tom versus Sergey Pavlovich again, Tom versus Curtis Blades again, Tom versus Jelton. I mean, whatever it is.
Yep.
Pick whoever you want. Are any of those as big as John versus Stipe? No.
Right.
They're not. So John and Stipe weren't fighting anybody but each other. So when you talk about, why are you booking this and not that, just understand it's either John versus Stipe or it's Aspinall versus somebody else, because they weren't fighting. They're not in that mix.
And both guys, I understand the reason behind it. One, I'm a huge Stipe fan. Like, the guy deserves to have one last go around. Who else would he fight? I don't want to see him go in there and fight Tom Aspinall for his last fight.
No.
That's just terrible. I'd rather him go out on his shield fighting the guy he's always wanted to fight, the guy that, everybody's always said is like now saying he's the best heavyweight, against the guy that everybody said was the heavyweight GOAT at one particular time. And I'd like Stipe's last fight to be the fight that he wants, and then let him go off and do his career that he's doing now. And if Jones decides to stick around, then we could start humoring it. But also, too, if that was the last fight for Jones, I'm happy that he's getting the fight that he wants. I'm happy that it's against Stipe. They both wanted this fight. And if he decides to stick around, cool. But if he decides to walk away, cool. You know, if there's a potential that it's going to be your last fight and you've given what you've given to the sport, you should get the last fight that you want.
Absolutely.
You know, that both of these guys deserve it. If they decide to come back after it, all the better. But should this be their last one, then let them choose. And I mean, they've been thinking about this fight and planning for this fight forever. It's just been waiting so long. The division went around them and created an interim title, and they did their whole thing. It didn't stop the fact that this fight was already arranged and agreed upon. As much as we all want to see the division, the belt unified, because all this silly interim stuff is just ridiculous, and it's been going on for years now. Let the fight happen. Let it be done. It's going to be I don't even know if it'd be a great fight. It's going to be a fun fight.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun fight with people people respect.
It's two legends going at it.
Two well-respected dudes that you can't say anything. Well, I was going to say you can't say anything bad about. Of course you can.
Not about what they do in the cage.
Yeah, not about what they do in the cage. You know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But do I think there's any possibility, should something happen, that we see a repeat of 151? No. No.
I wish, you know what, I wish we had an odds maker.
I mean,
here.
we would, if you're considering, when I say 151, I'm thinking the cancellation.
A fully canceled event, exactly.
But if you're talking about, if you think that there's a possibility of one guy falling out and Jones not accepting the fight, the fill-in,
100% that could happen.
That 100% could happen.
But they won't cancel the event.
They won't cancel the event.
No, I agree.
Yep.
This is interesting. I wish I just thought about this while you're talking about it, and I wish I would have reached out to an odds maker. But so right now, the odds I looked at, Jon Jones minus 400 against Stipe. Shout out to Dan Stope back in the day. Who's actually, I mean, always been into sports betting and stuff. Yeah. Now he's, I think, making his living fully in sports betting. But the implied, degenerate. The implied probability that means, right, is so a minus 400. The implied probability is that 80% of the time Jon Jones is the winner. If it was Aspinall, do you think he'd be an even bigger favorite than Jon Jones against Stipe?
Oh, on the flip side, I don't know.
Aspinall versus Stipe, you think he'd be even?
Oh, if it was Aspinall versus Stipe, bigger than that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
I think so too. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
that's nuts. All right, listen.
I mean, he's riding the wave right now. I mean, what we saw that kid do recently, he's on another level right now. I think his public opinion is so high right now. It'd be hard to see money willing to go on the opposite side of that. I think he's going to be so high that they're going to put him high just so that you can get some money on the opposite side. They might overly inflate the
just
actual.
So people
put money on
throw a
the
couple
other
bucks
side.
on Stipe.
Yep.
A lot of MMA this weekend. We won't go into a full breakdown, but just to remind you, by the way, one championship is in the United States this week, and I have not seen a lot of coverage of it.
Yeah, what was it? Superlek?
Yeah, Superlek and Jonathan Haggerty in the main event, which is awesome. And I do get it.
Superlek's badass.
Dude, he's a badass. I get it. Like, they do a lot of Muay Thai, kickboxing, and grappling, so a lot of the MMA websites have shied away from coverage because there's a lot of times where they might only have 2 or 3 MMA fights. You know what I mean? So I do get it, but I'm a little bit surprised with them being in the United States this week that I haven't seen more mainstream MMA media coverage of it. But they are in Denver. It is Friday night, so you can check that out. As you said, you mentioned the main event there. Mikey Musumeci is on there in grappling.
I was going to say against Cade. Is that how you said Cade?
No, he had to pull out, so they had to get a I know.
That sucks.
It would have been
I'm
insane.
looking at the Tapology, and it still has it on the poster.
No, they had to get a replacement.
He's badass.
I know. That would have been amazing. That would have been absolutely amazing.
That sucks.
But Online Sang is on there. But, dude, Muay Thai. John Lineker's having a Muay Thai bout on there.
Oh, jeez.
Gotta love that. In the small gloves? Come on now. So that's Friday night. So check that out. Put that on your radar because, again, and I totally get it, like the ones that they do over in Asia are a little tough sometimes because it's like early in the morning, so it doesn't really line up for us. But that one is prime time on Friday night, so check that one out. You do have Bellator on Saturday as well. They've got a decent card overall, I would say. Certainly the main event is very good. It's in Pachanga, so if you're out there in California, you can go check that out. A little bit of controversy maybe because it should have been the Bellator tournament final, and I don't think that they're still getting $1 million on the line there for that fight. But a couple good names on there, so definitely worth checking out. And that'll go head-to-head, unfortunately, with the UFC, where you and I will both be at. Gilbert Burns versus Sean Brady. Again, I was not there for media day, but I did watch the media streams. Gilbert Burns unfortunately shaved his head, which I was a little disappointed with because he had some fro going, and I guess he decided to trim that out. Meanwhile, Sean Brady is adding tattoos on the daily. The man is running out of space. This man said, I'm thinking about lightening this one area right here so I can redo some more. That man's putting tattoos on top of tattoos. Yeah. Like crazy.
There's a reason why you're supposed to pick something you're willing to live with. But I get it. Some people, it's a passage of it's a rite of passage. It's a momentary part of your life, and you want to document it on your skin, and then I guess at some point you outgrow that and you're like, I want to put some new info on it
instead.
But when he was like, I still got the front of my neck, he's like, I won't do the face, I did the back of the head. I was like, bro,
he's
stop.
Got tats on tats on tats. A good fight. I'll be honest, selfishly, I hope they grapple a lot. I would love to see these two grapple, man. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I think that's what it's going to come down to. Both guys have good hands and they have good power, but yeah, I want to see the grappling match. Like, even when I brought up to Sean, I was like, and he raised a good point. I think Sean currently I know there's a difference between competitive grappling and actually MMA grappling, but in my mind, Brady, man, I think his grappling, his jiu-jitsu is better right now.
Right.
But like Gilbert's a legit OG, so I feel like, Sean's almost thinking like Gilbert's time maybe has passed in that aspect. He's still giving him a lot of credit and a lot of respect. So now I'm like, okay, well, let's see. Yep. Let's see it. Let's see it happen.
I love it.
Like get you two together and let's see who's jiu-jitsu and whose grappling's better. Like you're saying he would by no means said like old or washed up, but it's like if you're saying his time has passed, you think he ain't got nothing left for you. And now I'm like, Gilbert, you gonna take that? You going to take that? But Brady's legit, man.
He's legit. I think a lot of people.
Jones.
I know,
man.
Craig
Jones.
I know, man.
Like, guys.
It wasn't the greatest grappling match of all time.
But
he won. He won.
But he still won.
Yeah, he won.
Like, that's legit, dude. Yeah. It's legit. And granted, it ain't. That ain't the same as when you're taking punches to the face, but Craig Jones is legit, dude.
Craig's badass.
He's badass, man. But, it's a fun card. I'm excited to see what Andrade looks.
How about Jessica Andrade breaking out the English?
At the very end, I was like, I had heard that she had been doing some English, but, like, it's funny because when I first asked that, Fabiano turned at me, and I was like, Am I wrong? Am I wrong? But I think it's because he was like, he knew I was, like, taking him out of the equation because at the very end, he's like, I'm useless, whatever. But I thought I heard that she had a better understanding of English. She just doesn't want to use it. And so I figured I'd give her that opportunity. But you could tell she had practiced that over because it was a perfect, like, Dana, whether it's at strawweight, whether it's at this, I want my title shot, blah, 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 let's go. And I was like, oh, shit.
It's perfect. I'll be honest with you, man. The idea of her and Miocic running it back for a BMF title. I'd love to see Joanna come back. I just love to see Joanna come back.
She was up there the whole time saying like how she loves being at 125. She feels so much better. She's stronger. And I'm like, okay, so you're done. You're done with strawweight. And she's like, nope, I won't say that. She's like, I want to be able to do both. I was like, good on you.
She's badass.
But dude, she talked about at one point she dropped 60 pounds.
It's crazy.
That is bizarre. She dropped 30 pounds for this when she went up. She's so tiny, but she's strong, man.
Oh, yeah.
She's just thick. But I was like, dude, that is what they do, like all the credit. And she makes the weight.
Yep.
To put that much of a weight cut on yourself and actually be able to do it consistently and then go out and perform at a super high level, like, what the fuck do I know? Like, you think, like, they wouldn't do that, and eventually their body just, you don't want to keep going through it. I'm like, you're saying you're happy, but you're like, no, I want to stay busy. I think I can still get a title in that division, too. It's like, all right, girl. That was her division. She was the queen of the division at one point, so should be interesting. But, yeah, there's some other good little ones on this. I'm interested to see. The Nelson Garcia should be a decent fight.
Oh, there's some
Chanel Durden should be fun.
Chanel Durden should be good. Durden stepping in on late notice.
Yep. Rongju and Chris Padilla should be fun.
Maybe some scraps.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Scraps. By the way, check out, if everybody gets a chance, check out the interview with Jorge Masvidal on Grind City Media. It's funny because Grind City Media, owned by the NBA's Memphis Grizzlies, their company policy is not to post profanity. So I had to like.
How much editing?
So the producer. The producer was like, "Hey man," he's like, "I'll edit this for you." He's like, "But I'm just gonna be honest, it's gonna take me a while." And I was like, "I'll do it," and it took a long time. Yeah. It was like, I think in a 15-minute interview. Well, not a long time.
So did you put beeps or just silenced it?
Put beeps.
Yeah.
So I think in a 15-minute interview, it was 60.
Holy cow!
So anyway, check that interview out.
That's just gonna be all beeps.
Know, it's got a lot of beeps in it, and know that those beeps were placed in there one by one by yours truly, Jon Morgan.
Yikes.
But so I asked him. I wasn't sure how he'd answer this. Obviously, he was talking about his own career, but I asked him about Joanna coming back, and he's like, "Bro, I'd love to see it." He did say, man, it was part of a longer discussion, but he was talking about how great the women's program is, an American top team, and it really is when you think about the champions that they've had. But I did ask him about Kayla and Amanda Nunes, because I interviewed Kayla last week, and she was talking about how like I want to see Amanda. Like I like her personally, but like she talked about ATT, and I don't like that, and I want to handle business. So when you think of ATT, you think of Jorge Masvidal for sure, but he was there with Amanda Nunes a lot longer than he was there with Kayla. And anyway, I just wanted to ask what he thought about it. He definitely didn't badmouth Amanda at all or say that he was frustrated or mad or anything like that, but he did say, and I think he's right, man. He's like, I think it'd be the biggest fight in women's history, man. He's like, if Kayla does what I think she's going to do, he was like, I think it'd be the biggest fight in women's history. And I tend to agree with that, man.
It'd be a lot of fun.
I'd love to see
I just saw some of that recent training footage of her. I don't know who she was working with. She was just throwing somebody around.
She's
I was like, holy cow.
Jorge was like, dude, he's like, look, first of all, it was awesome. It was almost like he went into promoter mode or whatever. He's like, you're talking about the greatest of all time versus the greatest of the new generation. Yeah. He's like, you're talking about a girl that can mess up anybody on the feet. He's like, but you're talking about a girl that could break anybody's arm, that could snap anybody's joints. But he actually said, he's like, I'm telling you right now, he was like, I've seen women of the highest caliber from every sport that there is on earth, every combat sport, come into our gym at one time or the other. He's like, Kayla's the only one I've ever seen. He's like, she'll go with dudes. And he's like, I'm not saying like, big dudes, but like 35ers or something, and like toss them around like they don't belong.
And that training footage I just saw like yesterday, that was not a 35er. She was throwing around a guy easily looked like he was 170, maybe even middleweight.
Savage, dude.
She's fucking the real deal, dude.
Savage.
I mean her jiu-jitsu base, her control and her center of gravity and how she's able to lower herself, she does it so seamlessly. I mean, she's not straining anything. She's able to execute her pickups and her throws just perfect. I mean, she has the perfect base that everybody's always said, like, hey, you got someone that wants to get into this sport, her wrestling and her wrestling and her judo background.
Yep.
She has the perfect base, and then she's just been building her hands around it. I mean, she's legit, dude. She's legit.
I love to see it.
I feel like she's still growing. I mean, she's just getting better. She's just getting better and better and better.
It was funny because
unbelievable.
Because the interview, I was like, it was kind of weird that they put the matchup together and you're on there, right? She immediately, she was like, I'll fight all three of them bitches one night, dude. Like, and she, she means it.
Yeah.
She means it. Like, some people just saying
She's built different.
She'd be like, no, right now, let's go. Like, she means it. I love her, man. Her and Amanda would be a great fight.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
She's amazing. All right, listen, a lot of MMA this weekend, as well as some Muay Thai and some submission grappling. So you can move it all in there. You can watch all of it. So definitely do that. And then next week, it's the Sphere. We will have full coverage of that. Looking forward to breaking it all down. I know we are. You can tell where our excitement level is, and I think it'll even build up even more next weekend. So appreciate everybody for being patient with us a day late. Now we have a decision to make because we have made a decision. We have made a decision early this morning, and now we have decisions to make about how the rest of the day will go. And if Cali Gold was here right now, I think he'd want to ride shotgun. But
I'm throwing in the towel already right now.
Sporting life, here we come.
Oh, no.
Let's go, everybody. And a half episode over at patreon.com/MMA Roadshow this week. We're back after a weekend away, and for everybody else, we appreciate you taking the time. Thanks for listening.